Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take compelling sources today. It's a really rich personal history, and we pull out the key insights, the stuff you need to know.
And today, we're diving into the life of Amelia Graham, Leah. It's a story that maps out military family life, young love, and just profound loss.
It really hits that intersection of structure, destiny, and grief, doesn't it?
Exactly. This deep dive is really for you, the learner, if you want to understand how destiny, displacement, and grief kind of weave together. We're tracking Leah's journey emotionally and, well, geographically, too.
Right, to see how someone forges a completely new path after, everything falls apart.
Yeah, after tragedy hits hard.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The source material gives us this, blueprint for a life that was supposed to happen. We've got 3 layers we're exploring today.
Okay.
First, that demanding world of military life, this foretold destiny idea. Second, the deep, almost foundational connection that defined her early adulthood.
With Beck, right?
With Beck. And finally, the psychological journey, the emotional work needed to rebuild after that sudden, devastating loss.
Mm-hmm.
So the story starts with this bedrock of Leah's identity, the military family, her dad's 3rd-generation army.
Right. So service movement, it's basically in her DNA. It comes with its own language, its own pace, totally different from civilian life.
And a key part of that language, something everyone outside that world needs to grasp, is PCS. Change of station.
Yeah, Leah nails the definition. Military speak for pack your shit and hit the road.
Yeah. It's blunt.
It is. And it just overrides everything else, friendships, routines, whatever, often with very little warning. It dictates your life.
And the sheer frequency is key here.
Yeah.
Looking at the geographical history of Amelia Graham, 0 to 17, the number of moves is staggering. It's central to her story.
It creates this really fascinating geography of identity. She starts at Fort Drum, New York, then Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Okay.
Then jumps over to Fort Leavenworth in Kansas, time out west at JBLM Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington, down to Fort Carson, Colorado, then the D.C. area, Pentagon, Fort Belvoir in Virginia.
Wow.
And finally, just before senior year, they land in River Hollow, Tennessee, near Fort Campbell.
7 major moves, all dictated by orders. That kind of constant uprooting, it demands some serious psychological adaptation.
It really does. And Leah figures this out quite young, actually. It's a really mature insight she shares.
What did she say?
She realized, people have the wrong idea about what it means to put down roots. You can have ties to more than a location. Sometimes experiences serve, so do people.
That's powerful. So stability isn't the place, it's the connections you carry with you.
Exactly. That's the Army brat's psychological toolkit. Since the place always changes, you build stability on people, on shared experiences. It probably fosters this intense capacity for quick, deep bonds.
Okay, so the military provides the physical structure, the constant change. But then there's this other blueprint, the emotional one, the prophecy handed down from her mother.
Right. Let's get into that prediction, because it sets up this huge expectation, this framework Leah later really struggles against.
Her mom went to a clairvoyant.
Yeah, when she was 17, cost her $20. And the source material really paints a picture here. Candlelit tent, tapestries, crystals, shells, bones.
Setting the scene for inescapable fate, basically.
Totally. Even the smell of cinnamon incense. It makes the predictions feel less like guesswork and more like, destiny carved in stone.
And the clairvoyant hit some things that were already true.
Yeah, confirmed her mom's bookish nature. She was an insatiable reader, and her reliance on family, her own mother being a scaffold.
Okay.
But then came the kicker, the tragic prediction that really cemented the clairvoyant's credibility for Leah's mom.
What was that?
That her own father would pass away before she left for college, Ole Miss, the next year. And sadly, he did.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that event would absolutely solidify belief in whatever came next.
Precisely. And what came next was the prediction about Leah, the big one.
The defining prophecy.
The clairvoyant said Mom would have one child, a flaxen-haired girl with eyes like her father's, blue as the ocean's depths. This daughter, Leah, would be her greatest joy and follow a similar path.
A similar path, meaning the structure of her life was already laid out.
Exactly. And crucially, it dictated her love life, too. The clairvoyant said, the woman I spoke of, your soul's mirror, will mother your daughter's fated.
Okay, wait. Your soul's mirror. Who was that?
That was Bernie. Beck's mom.
Whoa! So the prophecy literally linked the families, suggesting Leah and Beck were destined for each other through their mothers.
It's intense, isn't it? It implies the parents' friendship wasn't just close. It was part of this grand, mandated narrative, making Leah and Beck's relationship feel less like a choice and more like, well, a foregone conclusion.
Written generations before they were even born.
Yeah. It puts this almost mythological weight on them. If your mom's soulmate's mom is your soulmate's mom, well, it insulates the relationship from doubt, maybe.
But also saddles it with massive external pressure.
Absolutely. It raises the stakes enormously for every decision Leah makes down the line.
Okay, so let's move from fate as an idea to the actual relationship. Beck and Leah, this wasn't just childhood sweethearts. You said it was like a generational project.
It really was. They met the day Leah was born. He was only 18 months older.
And their connection was cemented by their parents' history, right? The Burns and the Grahams.
Yeah, Bernie and Connor Byrne, Hannah and Cam Graham, they were all college sweethearts together. And that friendship, especially between the moms, Bernie and Hannah, fueled the kids' connection. Remember, Bernie was supposedly Hannah's soul's mirror.
So the parents actively engineered keeping the kids together.
They did. They sought out ways to connect, and funny enough, military life actually helped with that sometimes.
How so?
Shared duty stations. Think about that geographical history we just talked about.
Right, the constant moves.
They were stationed together at Fort Bragg in North Carolina when Leah was like 3 to 5.
Okay.
Then again at Fort Lewis, which became JBLM, in Washington when she was 8 to 10.
Right, I remember that.
And then the really crucial one, Northern Virginia, ages 14 to 16 for Leah. That's exactly when things shifted from just friends to something more.
So the military machine, designed to keep moving them, ironically kept lining up their paths.
Pretty much, yeah. Destiny or just logistics.
Maybe both. The source material gives us a great little detail about Beck's birth, setting his character tone.
Oh, yeah, the 11-pound baby.
Exactly. Apparently caused his dad, Connor, to faint right in the delivery room.
It kind of paints him as larger than life from the get-go, doesn't it? Monumental.
And that protective side really comes out later, during that key time in Virginia.
Right when that boy harassed Leah at school, Beck's reaction wasn't just teenage bravado.
No, it was visceral. He confronted the kid, said, "I care because she's my best friend, and if you touch her again, I'll fucking end you."
Whoa. Intense.
Leah initially thought maybe he was just scared of his own dad, military discipline.
But the story makes it clear it was deeper. It was this, faded loyalty, the feeling he had to protect her.
And that feeling gets symbolized, made concrete, with the promise ring.
Ah, yes. White gold. Their birthstones, aquamarine and sapphire. Found online from a Georgetown jeweler.
Which feels very specific, very deliberate, serious.
Totally. It represented the future they were meticulously building together. The plan.
The plan. Commonwealth of Virginia University, CVU. Together.
Beck running track, studying civil engineering, Leah doing early childhood development.
And they were absolutely sure about it. The source uses that phrase.
Certain as the setting sun.
Yeah, powerful certainty, but based on that shaky prophecy foundation.
And the narrative itself points out a couple of cracks in that perfect story, suggesting maybe destiny isn't quite so fixed.
What were those?
Well, the first was external, something that happened earlier, the lost pregnancy.
Right. Leah's mom had a miscarriage when Leah was 10. It was the boy.
And that's analytically crucial, isn't it? Because the clairvoyant specifically said one child.
Good point. So the prophecy was already technically flawed.
Exactly. It's like a little warning sign in the narrative. Fate can have glitches, contradictions, real life intervenes. But the parents seem to have conveniently ignored that part.
They focused on the parts that fit the plan for Leah and Beck.
Seems like it. The second crack was internal, though, between Leah and Beck themselves. The ice cream fight.
Oh, yeah, this was just before he died, right?
Right. It started over something silly, Beck liking vanilla ice cream.
And Leah teased him about it.
Yeah, called herself a safe choice, kind of jokingly. But Beck, he didn't take it as a joke at all. He was genuinely hurt.
What did he say?
He asked her, "Is that who I am to you? A coward who settles for just okay?" It reveals this deep insecurity,
That he was just the default, the easy pass, not truly chosen.
Yeah. It shows the relationship wasn't just comfortable certainty. It had these complex undercurrents, self-doubt.
But he tried to fix it immediately, didn't he?
Oh, big time. He overnighted vanilla bean ice cream to her with a note.
What did the note say?
"So what if you're vanilla? Vanilla's my favorite. I'll always choose you."
Wow. Okay, so Reaffirming his choice, showing her she wasn't just safe, she was chosen.
Exactly. But that intense commitment, that certainty, it ironically becomes this heavy psychological anchor for Leah after he's gone, something she just can't seem to pull up.
So that meticulously planned future, reinforced by prophecy, by family history, it just shatters. November 22nd, Beck dies. Massive heart attack at 18.
Found by his roommate James just before Thanksgiving break. It's the complete collapse.
And Leah's reaction is paralysis.
Utter immobility. The source describes it vividly. Inconsolable shock, deep depression, morbid fixation, living as if under a wool blanket.
Just shut down.
Completely.
Yeah.
And that detail, 246 days without saying Beck's name out loud, it shows how frozen she was. Life stopped on November 22nd for her.
Her parents tried to help, though, in their practical military way.
They did. Her dad brought home Major, this 60-pound pointer puppy.
Ah, the dog.
Yeah, who became her glimmer of light through a run of very dark months. Major needed walks, needed feeding.
Right, something external forcing her to engage, even minimally.
Exactly. A non-negotiable demand on her energy. She even notes he'd eat her shoes if she forgot to walk him. It forced her out of total retreat.
And her mom.
Her mom provided comfort in a way that really acknowledged the irrationality of grief, you know? Instead of pushing a healthy smoothie, she made rich, slightly underbaked brownies.
Meeting her where she was at emotionally.
Exactly. But despite that support, their big solution, moving the family to River Hollow, Tennessee, near Fort Campbell, for a fresh start senior year was maybe not the best call.
Why not? For her dad, moving fixes things, right?
Right, that's the military playbook. But for Leah, River Hollow felt inhospitable. It wasn't starting over. It felt like actively, physically abandoning Beck, like leaving him behind.
So the move actually intensified her clinging to the past.
Absolutely. It fueled her adherence to the burden of the past, which explains why she applied early decision to CVU, even deep in that grief fog.
She felt she owed it to his memory.
Totally. An obligation to his ghost. The source reveals that in her conflict, she admits CVU wasn't entirely her dream, but she felt bound to follow through for him. Duty over desire.
How did she start breaking free from that?
The first step was tackling the avoidance. She'd completely shut out the Burns, Beck's parents, couldn't face them.
Understandable, but probably not helpful long term.
Right. The turning point was Beck's birthday. She finally texted Bernie, his mom.
And reconnecting helped.
Immensely, for both of them. Leah realized her friend Megan had a point that guilt Leah felt was kind of selfish because Bernie desperately needed that connection too.
So shared grief became a bridge.
Yeah. It led to this really sweet, relatable ritual, streaming Friday Night Lights together online, finding common ground again.
That's nice.
And this reconnection, this slow thawing, allowed for one final, very strange act of loyalty.
What was that?
Leah went back to Beck's room, and she smuggled out his hidden stash of old Playboys and a Hustler.
Hey, really?
Yeah, hidden under his old G.I. Joes. Apparently well-loved, older than her. She took them and dumped them in a gas station dumpster far away. A final chore for him.
Wow. That's incredibly human, messy, real. Not the idealized promise ring image at all.
Not at all. It's about dealing with the reality of an imperfect 18-year-old boy. It shows this mature, almost mundane loyalty that goes beyond the romanticized grief.
Okay, so she's processing and starting to deal with the reality. And it's only after these breakthroughs that something new can enter her life.
Exactly. Only then does her world crack open enough for Isaiah Santora to appear. And the timing in the narrative feels almost fated.
How so?
She meets him on the exact anniversary of Beck's death, November 22nd.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah. The circumstances are chaotic, too. She almost hits his friend Paloma with her car in the school parking lot.
So, a literal collision.
Pretty much. And Isaiah's presence just immediately pierces that wool blanket. He comforts her during a meltdown in the hallway. And then Leah, after 18 months of just numbness, acts on pure instinct and initiates this inappropriate kiss.
Impulsive.
Yeah.
The sign of life, maybe?
A terrifying sign of life, yeah. A recognition of something new sparking.
And their connection is interesting because their backgrounds are so different, right?
Yeah.
Structured military versus foster care instability.
Totally opposite ends of the spectrum, but the depth of their trauma is comparable, just different kinds.
Tell us about Isaiah's backstory.
He's this high school basketball star, straight baller, co-captain, but he doesn't see it as his future, just a hobby, maybe a means to an end. He lives with Marjorie, his foster mom, for 6 years.
And she seems stable.
Yeah, she's practical, saves the stipend money she gets for all her foster kids' futures. But Isaiah's core trauma is intense. Birth parents were addicts, severe neglect.
Okay.
And the devastating part, he witnessed the death of his baby sister, Emily. She died after being shaken by their parents.
Oh, my God. That's horrific.
It is. So you see the parallel. Leah's grieving this lost, perfect, structured past. Isaiah carries the weight of a chaotic, tragic past he survived.
One rooted in failed structure, the other in pure chaos.
Exactly. Both navigating this massive emotional weight. That shared, contrasting burden is kind of what pulls them together, you know?
So Leah starts seeking him out.
Yeah, she joins the art club, takes ceramics just to be near him, and Isaiah sees her. He draws her portrait.
What was the portrait like?
He captured her spark, but also the bounty of secrets, and Leah actually tacks it up on her wall right next to Beck's photos.
Wow. Putting the past and the potential future side by side.
Yeah. And Isaiah just says simply, he's glad to be with you. It solidifies their connection quietly. So as Leah starts letting Isaiah in, the pressure from that old life, her parents, the CVU plan, it inevitably builds towards a clash.
Even when she got accepted to CVU, early decision, her parents weren't thrilled.
No, they were wary. They treated it like a mistake, like she was stuck, not moving forward, which is ironic given they helped build that expectation.
And the tension finally snaps when they find Leah and Isaiah together.
Yeah, they run into them in the neighborhood. The two worlds collide right there on the sidewalk. And her dad's reaction is telling.
What does he do?
He immediately defaults to his rank, his formal identity, corrects Leah in front of Isaiah. Colonel and Mrs. Graham.
Ouch. Pulling rank on his own daughter.
Yeah. It humiliates Leah, obviously, but it devastates Isaiah. He feels bleakly vacant, like a fraud. It just reinforces all his insecurities about not belonging in their perfect, structured world.
And that humiliation is what finally pushes Leah to push back.
Yes. She finally snaps, challenges their unspoken judgment that she's only capable of loving once. She tells them her grief, her heart is hers, not up for their opinion.
That's a huge moment of defiance against that whole Graham structure.
It really is. And it sets the scene for the big turning point, both geographically and emotionally. Connor Burns' retirement ceremony.
Beck's dad, retiring after 22 years in the Army.
Ceremony at Mount Vernon, George Washington's estate. Very symbolic location. Leah feels this pull, this need to go back to Virginia.
Like facing the past head on.
Yeah, fighting upstream, as she puts it. Showing up for Beck's memory, for the Burns.
And Isaiah goes with her.
He insists, let me come with you.
Yeah.
And that changes everything. It turns this sad pilgrimage into something else.
How so?
It leads to the crucial U-turn at CVU. Before the ceremony, Isaiah drives her straight to the Commonwealth of Virginia campus.
Forces her to confront the physical place tied to the plan.
Exactly. Makes her look at it. He tells her, basically, you need to admit you're chasing a ghost.
And standing there,
Yeah,
she finally gets it.
she does. The weight just lifts. She realizes that future, the one they planned, it's gone. Irrevocably. And that freedom, that letting go, opens up possibilities.
What kind of possibilities?
Stuff in lieu of college, being an au pair in Australia, backpacking, maybe that road trip with Isaiah. Breaking the CVU anchor finally lets her imagine something else.
And the ceremony itself reinforces this shift.
Yeah, Connor Burns' speech is powerful. He directly links his retirement to Beck's death, saying, my family needs me, all of me.
Giving Leah, in a way, permission to prioritize emotional needs over rigid plans.
Right. And he offers this wisdom. When you've trudged through deep pain, the joys that follow are all the greater. It validates her struggle, hints that the new joy with Isaiah isn't betrayal, but maybe a result of surviving the pain.
But things aren't completely resolved yet, are they? There's still tension with Isaiah.
No, not quite. Later that night, Isaiah forces the issue, the ultimatum. He needs clarity.
What does he say?
He asks her point blank, if you're not over Beck, what were we doing? I want you to call this what it is. He needs to know if she's really present with him.
That's tough, but necessary, I guess.
Very necessary. Because Leah realizes she still hasn't fully claimed her own identity in this new space. She admits she just got swept away by Beck, gave up her own goals. I gave myself over. Willingly, gladly.
And she's afraid of doing that again with Isaiah.
Exactly. She fears that just shifting her intense loyalty from Beck to Isaiah would undo 18 months of healing, of rediscovering me. The real challenge wasn't choosing between Beck and Isaiah.
It was choosing herself.
Choosing herself, finally, over the pull of destiny, expectation, and intense attachment. So, after that CVU U-turn and the intense conversation with Isaiah, things start changing fast. First, the change of course with her parents.
She tells him she's not going to see VU. How do they react this time?
This is the beautiful part, the moment of real parental support. No fight, no disappointment, just immediate backing. We'll contact CVU, help you explain the situation.
Wow.
Her dad just dismisses the lost deposit. Her happiness finally trumps the plan, the structure, the prophecy. Their love feels unconditional for the first time, maybe.
That must have been incredibly freeing for her.
Huge. And then she declares her next step. She needs an adventure, a gap year.
And they support that too.
Fully. Even Bernie and Connor are enthusiastic, saying they'll live vicariously through our girl. It's like everyone finally accepts she's writing her own story now, not living out a pre-written script.
Okay, so she's free from the external pressures.
Yeah.
Now she needs to reconcile things with Isaiah.
Right. And she orchestrates this meeting herself, choosing the location carefully, the mall in D.C., specifically the tidal basin near the Lincoln Memorial.
Why there?
It was where she and Beck had their first kiss, a place loaded with meaning from the past.
But she approaches it differently this time.
Completely. She sprints up the Lincoln Memorial steps. It's this physical act showing her new strength, her determination to move forward, not be dragged down by the memory.
A symbolic climb.
Totally. And when she finds Isaiah, she just hugs him. He gets it, immediately apologizes for his jealousy.
What does he say?
He admits how irrational it was. Like, how can I be resentful of a guy who's not around to compete? He realizes the real competition was always with the ghost.
And Leah. She finally finds the words.
She finds the perfect words, the core truth of the whole thing. She says, I'll never be over him. He was my childhood, my best friend, my first love. She honors that.
Right, it doesn't just disappear.
No. But then she explains how Isaiah fits in. She tells him, Beck would have liked you because you showed me that my heart's capacity to love is infinite. It has room to keep memories of him and room for new memories with you.
Infinite capacity. That's the key, isn't it? It's not about replacement, it's about expansion.
Exactly. It shatters that old, only capable of loving once idea. Grief doesn't shrink the heart. Maybe surviving it makes it bigger.
And ironically, this brings us back to psychics and fate, in a way.
Yeah. Leah had seen another psychic, Jasmine, a year before Beck died, just looking for general guidance.
Yeah, what did Jasmine predict?
Something subtle, but looking back, it fits Isaiah perfectly. In you, he'll find a confidant. In your heart, faith will regain its footing. He'll appear when you least expect it.
Wow. So maybe fate wasn't wrong, just misinterpreted by everyone focused on the first prophecy.
Maybe. Or maybe fate is just about recognizing the right connection when it appears unexpectedly.
So the future isn't foretold anymore. It's chosen.
Chosen.
Yeah.
Together. Leah and Isaiah decide to figure out as they go. Maybe his road trip idea, maybe her au pair plan in Australia. They're off the predetermined track and onto an open road. #tag outro. So we've tracked Leah navigating these really rigid structures, military life, that heavy prophecy. She finds freedom not by erasing the past, but by integrating it.
Yeah, realizing that structure, destiny, even devastating loss, they don't limit her future happiness. They actually maybe expand her heart's capacity.
It's a powerful story about turning tragedy into a new direction, isn't it? Her mother's prophecy was both true and, importantly, flawed.
Right. Destiny wasn't this single track she had to follow. It turned out to be more about the choices she made next, correcting the assumptions of the past.
Which leaves us with a question for you, the listener. Leah had to break free from a promise, a plan that was meant to protect her but ended up confining her.
So think about it. What promise, expectation, or maybe deeply ingrained plan from your past might be, even unconsciously, limiting your options right now?
And what unwritten story are you maybe ready to step into and become the protagonist of?